start to condition the masses for the cashless society. And once they go cashless, that's it. You're done. They got you by the balls.
Hey Truther fam, it's Sonia here. I hope you're all doing well. I've got another update for you on the digitalization and automation of our society. Last week, I was showing you that a Whole Foods market in DC had installed e-gates. Now you need a QR code to get in there and shop. Otherwise, you can't even go in and get your food. And after I showed you that clip, I raised the issue, why are they doing this? Today, I want to come back to that issue. First, I'm going to show you this clip. And then I'm going to show you another clip from Elon Musk where he talks about population collapse. And I'm going to explain to you why I think these two things could be related. So let's look at this clip here first of all. So this is a clip from a person who has discovered that his local Sobeys market has not just a self-checkout, but a cashless self-checkout shopping cart.
Hope y'all are ready. I'm at Sobeys, and this is the new cashless shopping cart, where you do all the shopping as you walk through the aisles. You scan it, you put it in the cart, you just tap and pay and bag your own stuff and walk out. They start to condition the masses for the cashless society. And once they go cashless, that's it. You're done. They got you by the balls. Can't take your money out. Can't put it under your mattress. Can't save it for a rainy day. That's it. It's done deal. Right here at Sobeys.
So this self-checkout shopping cart is really just another self-checkout, except that, well, it actually saves you the trouble of having to put all your stuff in the cart, bring it to the self-checkout, take it all out to scan it again, and then I guess put it back in the cart to take it to your car. So hey, like, that's convenient. But there's two things going on. The transition to digital and cashless, and also the transition away from human labor. And like he said, once it's cashless, they got us all by the balls. We're totally screwed. I mean, it takes so much power away from the people when the government has control over who can access what services and products, who can go where, and who can even access their own money. But the other half of this is the removal of human labor. And this is something that I've been thinking about. Why do they want to get rid of all the people? Why do they want to get rid of all the jobs? Okay, and I brought this up last time. Bear with me for a second because I'm going to get to the reason that I really think is behind all this stuff, or one of the main reasons, which apparently Elon Musk is thinking in the same way as me at this point. Do they just want less employees so they keep more of the money? That's one possibility, but it doesn't make all the sense in the world because they're losing money all the time because people are stealing. Because when you have self-checkouts, it's pretty tempting for people to just pocket a few things and walk out and figure no one's going to notice. And apparently that is happening. It's a problem with self-checkout and automation is that people take advantage of it. And so stores are losing a ton of money to all this theft. I went to Home Depot. They got 4 self-checkout cashes and they got 2 cashiers. So they're paying 2 less cashiers. But how much money are they losing to theft? And that's what actually the discussion I had with the cashier, it went in that direction. She said, so many people are stealing. I don't understand why the company is doing this. Are they really saving money? Or is that money all being made up for with all this theft? Probably a lot of it is. So is it really worth it? Are they doing it for more power? The government just wants so much power. They want you to be on basic income. So you're totally dependent on the government teat. And if you step out of line, they just cut off the pap. Is that possible? It could be. There's a third possibility, and this is the one that I want to explore. Then I'm wondering, well, what's the real reason? There's got to be more to this. Now, here's where I want to get to the Elon Musk part. So this is from an interview on the InnerVision channel. Listen to what Elon Musk has to say about...
What do you think is the biggest threat to mankind right now?
I'd say the biggest threat right now is population collapse. The super low growth rate.
Really?
Yeah.
Over like nuclear war, natural
disaster.
Don't we have an overpopulation problem?
No, we have an underpopulation problem.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you
So
say that?
this is the most commonly misunderstood situation.
Yeah, they definitely push that we have a overpopulation.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. It's just like, I think it's like, this is a holdover from like, I don't know, the 70s or something, you know? So there was a huge baby boom, like where people did have a ton of kids after World War II. But then the U.S. has actually been the birth rate in the U.S. has been below replacement rate since like 71 or 72.
So that's true, not only for the US, but also for Canada. I know that in Quebec, actually the birth rate, it was at 1.7 per woman a few years ago. Now it's gone down even more. I think the last time I checked it was at 1.4. So what happens when you have this baby boomer population, that these older people, you're getting a larger and larger segment of people getting into the senior age, and yet in terms of the replacement population, it's getting smaller and smaller. And with each generation, that can become even more of like a funnel shape, because this one had 2 replacing. Now it's 1.7, but then 10 years later it's 1.4, then it's going to go to 1.2. And that's, 1.2 of the 1.4 that you replaced the previous generation with. So it's just getting smaller and smaller. In the US, in Canada, Europe's population also not increasing. And
In the US, but how about other countries though?
Below replacement rate.
I know US, but how about other countries?
Well, like China's got a huge population collapse problem.
Really?
Yeah.
China, you actually get penalized if you have more than one kid.
No,
Are you being serious?
No,
I
They cut that off.
No, see, this is like, so part of it is just like, we're operating on things that were true in the past but are no longer true. So China did have a one-child policy, but like about 10 years ago, they changed it to a 2-child policy. Then a few years ago, they changed it to a 3-child policy, and birth rate kept plummeting the whole time.
they seem to have just gotten used to living in a society where people have few children, and they're not wanting to have more. They're actually having even less now than they did during the time of the one-child policy. So their population is going into a steep funnel. So obviously, when in places like China and a lot of Western countries, you have a birth rate that's getting exponentially smaller, you're heading towards population collapse. A lot of African countries still have high birth rates where they have an average of 4 children per woman. In those countries, though, the life expectancy is not nearly as long. Like, for example, in the Western countries and in some Asian countries, our life expectancy is like 75, 80 years or more. Whereas in these African countries, it's about 45, 50, 55, which doesn't mean people live to 50 and then they just keel over dead. What it means is that they still have high infant and childhood mortality, and then they still also have more adults dying at younger ages than we do in the West. So even though they're still having plenty of babies in Africa, I don't think that it's going to be enough to solve this problem, even if they would export labor from Africa then to make up for the population shortage in the West or in Asia. Apparently it wouldn't be enough. I think that this is exactly what they're preparing for. They're preparing for population collapse, not from a nuclear war or even a disease, but just from people just not having enough kids. I'm pretty sure that the elites of this world are not actually upset that we're going to have population collapse, because if you think about it, though, the less people, the easier it'll be to control the ones that are remaining. But nonetheless, you still have to have a way to keep society functioning. So I think this may have something to do with all this automation. Like I said in my previous video, I think they're looking down the road and they're seeing that there's not going to be enough young people to run society to keep things functioning. So they're preemptively creating these machines to take the place of people. I really think that that has something to do with it. They're looking down the road and they're saying 20, 30 years, we're going to need this. So let's get it in place now. That's just part of why they're doing it, but that's probably one of the reasons. That's probably a big part of it. That's like, to me, that's the missing link. That's the third part. And other than that, you know, financial incentives for big corporations probably is part of it, even if they have to pay in to keep everybody else on basic income. And then the basic income, again, serves as another control tool for the government. I think these are the three things: more money, more power, and also to deal with population collapse. I think this is really what we're looking at. So anyway, I wanted to put that out there, see what your opinion is. Let me know what you think. Does this make sense to you? I think it makes sense, but let me know what you think. And thank you for your support on Patreon. If you'd like to join my Patreon blog where you can message me, you can ask me to promote your content, to get access to extra content, and you always get notified when I post or when I go live, then it's patreon.com/thetruthergirls. So thank you for your support on there. And thanks for joining me in the live chat. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.